If you're working a full-time job and you're wondering what it might be like to work a freelance job, or you're currently freelancing and you might want to know what it's like to work a full-time job, stay tuned because today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of both of these styles of working. According to a recent study by freelancer platform Upwork, 38% of Americans are freelancing for work. That comes out to about 64 million Americans who worked a freelance job in 2023. This number is only growing. It is estimated that by 2050, nearly 50% of the US workforce will be freelancing. Between 2022 and 2023, I had 2 full-time jobs and 3 freelance jobs, and I came to find a lot of pros and cons about both styles of working. So let's talk about those pros and cons. And just a disclaimer, these are just my opinions and you may think differently. First, let's start with full-time work. Pro number 1, the steady paycheck. When I've had full-time jobs, it was really nice to know how much money I would have coming in each month, to know how much money I could spend. I'm someone who loves stability, so having this regular paycheck was really helpful for my brain. Pro number 2, the benefits. Having health insurance, a paid time off policy, and a retirement plan was really nice when I was working my full-time jobs. And I will admit that I have missed them when I've been freelancing and I haven't been given these benefits. Pro number 3, the team mentality. Having coworkers who you see or at least interact with daily or on a regular basis can help to form those deeper relationships. Personally, I've made good friends with my coworkers when working full-time jobs, and I haven't had that same experience when freelancing. Now let's talk about the cons of full-time work. Con number 1, limited flexibility. Full-time jobs can be fairly strict in terms of hours and location. You typically have to be in the same place at the same time every day unless you're working remotely. This can make it harder to balance a personal life. For example, making doctor's appointments or just meeting up with a friend for lunch may be difficult. Con number 2, dependence on one income source. Being reliant on a single employer for income comes with its risks. If the company faces issues or you're laid off for any reason, not having a backup income source could be really difficult financially. Con number 3, potentially more stress. Full-time jobs typically, though not always, come with greater responsibilities and longer hours. There's typically more pressure for you to perform or hit certain metrics, and this could lead to increased stress and potentially burnout. Okay, next up, let's talk about the pros and cons of freelancing. Pro number 1, greater flexibility. This, at least to me, is one of the greatest benefits of working as a freelancer. Freelancers have control over when and where they work, which means that instead of needing to schedule all of your personal activities around your work schedule, you can schedule your work around your personal schedule. Pro number 2, potential to earn more. Depending on your field and skill level, freelancers can often charge higher rates than what you'd typically earn as a salaried employee. You can set your own rate rather than having to go along with whatever an employer offers you in a full-time role. Pro number 3, diverse opportunities. You don't just have to offer one service as a freelancer. You can take on a variety of projects from different clients, which can lead to a diverse portfolio and a wide range of experiences. It can also lead to less burnout if you're not doing the same thing every day. Now let's talk about the cons of freelancing. Con number 1, income instability. Freelance work can be unpredictable. Some months you will likely be making more money than you will in other months. This can make financial planning challenging. Con number 2, lack of benefits. Freelancers typically do not receive benefits, which are often provided in full-time employment. This means you'll need to set up your own health insurance and retirement saving plans, and you'll need to set aside money for vacations and time off since you won't be getting any paid time off from the company you're freelancing for. Con number 3, isolation. When I was freelancing, I definitely had days where I felt disconnected from the people I was working with and like I was kind of working on a little island. Now, this might be fine if you have a good social sphere outside of work, but if you're used to getting a lot of that social interaction from your job, this might come as a bit of a shock to you and you might feel kind of lonely some days. Okay, so now that you've heard the pros and cons of full-time work versus freelance work, you might be wondering which one is better. And there is no right answer to that. It totally depends on you and your situation and what you're looking for at the moment. For me, I really valued having a steady paycheck and those benefits coming in that I could rely on, and it was this way for many, many years. However, over the past few years, my priorities have shifted, and I have discovered that I really appreciate having a flexible job more than having a steady paycheck, and so right now I'm valuing freelancing more than having a full-time job. So we've taken a look at both sides of the coin, full-time work and freelancing. It's clear that what works for one person might not be the best for another, and honestly, I think the future of work is going to be a lot about finding what fits you best. We're seeing more people and companies embracing flexible models, including hybrid working models that sort of blends full-time work with some of the benefits of freelance work. It's an interesting middle ground, and I'll be curious to see if this model continues into the future. Now, I'm really curious about your take on this. Do you prefer the structure of having a full-time job, or do you prefer the flexibility of freelance work? And what's driving this choice? I'd love to hear from you about this, so leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts on which style of work you prefer. If you liked this video, give it a little like down below and subscribe if you'd like to see more content about careers and work life and work-life balance and all of that. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll catch you in the next one.